guys, what's up? My name is Shemin, and before I do my readings, I like to say a little mantra. Helps me drop into the reading headspace and connect to the energy of whoever's here listening. So, I'm stepping aside, I'm connecting to my higher self, which is connecting to your higher self, all of your spirit guides, benevolent beings, and entourage and spirit on the other side of the veil. Any messages that need to come through will come through as I remind myself that I am just the messenger. All right, so I've got a original to me, but I'm sure it's been done before, kind of like spread here, where we're going to be kind of approaching a topic and then viewing the like two different sides of the situation. So for some people, this could be a decision. This would be maybe, one or the other decision that you could make. And for other people, this will just be kind of like explaining a complex situation from maybe a couple of different angles. So let's go ahead and get started. So for the first cards here, we've got the Two of Pentacles, clarified by the Page of Pentacles, and the Four of Wands in reverse. So Two of Pentacles is all about balance, specifically with things of the earthly realm. So this is, going to be the things that more so pertain to your like day-to-day life than kind of like these big, grandiose things. Because the main topic here is going to be just minor arcana, not major arcana. There can be some major arcana echoes, but this will be more so dealing again with the mundane or day-to-day things. So with this here, it's kind of calling your attention to balance a couple of different things. Specifically, there's the Four of Wands in reverse with the Page of Pentacles here. So Page of Pentacles is all about kind of like beginning new things. Specifically, this could be like a new business venture or even just some new way of life. It's like doing something new that like affects your day-to-day life. And by doing this new thing or kind of starting this particular avenue, it would take time away from something else that you would be doing. So you have to kind of find a good balance with it. The thing that it would be affecting is the Four of Wands here, which is in reverse because of the imbalance that it is predicting could happen. So the Four of Wands, when it's upright, is all about like union. It's kind of like a marriage, happy family card. It's like the conscious and the subconscious kind of merging together in a very harmonious way that kind of provides this sense of stability that, for the things that we want to do moving forward. So with this being in reverse, some people, it could be that by doing this, it is taking time away from your relationship and that is suffering just a little bit. For other people, it could be that this thing that you're trying to do is in some way kind of causing a disharmony between your own conscious and subconscious minds. And so finding a way to strike the balance between the two is going to be very beneficial for you moving forward, which is also very interesting because the cards on the bottom of the deck, you've got the Justice card twice in two different decks. You've got it in the both clarifying decks, and the main deck, the card on the bottom, was the Six of Wands, which is victory. So to me, it's interesting that we have both of the Justice cards that we do because the Two of Pentacles is all about balance. Justice has her Libra scales, or her justice scales. So it's like you've got to weigh your options and make sure again that you are finding that good balance, especially with Justice coming up here twice. Again, that is a major arcana kind of exemplifying this. So that is going to be very important. You're going to want to make sure that whatever it is that you do feels fair to both or every party involved. So, all right, so on one side of the situation here, let me get the Oracle card. All right, bless you, little kitty sneeze. All right, so for this first one over here, we've got the Fool, the World, and the Star. Oh wow, oh my god, you've got three major arcana. Okay, so again, I think I feel like this will be kind of for the Page of Pentacles aspect, and this will be for the Four of Wands in reverse aspect because the cards fall where they do. So very interesting. So whatever this new thing is that you're beginning here, definitely something that's going to be very important, to say the least. So you've got both the beginning, or the very first and the very last major arcana here. And my personal favorite, the Star card. I love that one, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So with the Fool and the World here, so it's like the 0 card and the 21st card, which marks the end of the cycle. So it's like by having both of these here, it's kind of saying it's like there is like a whole journey contained within this little seed of that pentacle there. And specifically the Star card is all about like our life purpose, or kind of like You find it in the Hermit, with it being the kind of like star in his lantern, and that's the thing that kind of propels you into the Wheel of Fortune, and also is like your guiding light when you're going through all of the dark cards with like the Tower, Devil, and whichever other one has a black background to it. And then it's like right after the Tower you get the Star, that shining light, that first bit of inspiration. But it's like the Star is our sense of purpose, and so whatever it is that you're doing here with that, you know, Pentacle is a star, this is a star, it's all related. But it's like you are finding a really resonant kind of like sense of purpose here. So that's very exciting for you. Definitely do this, but again, make sure that you are maintaining a balance. The Oracle card here is lighthearted kindness. So connect to the joy of being with a dolphin, very playful animal, some of the most intelligent in the world. But yeah, connect to the joy of being. So I think especially whatever it is here is something that you just like enjoy doing, and find a lot of joy and success in, or will find a lot of success in. So it's very exciting. This is definitely something to hold on to for sure. And so for the other side over here, okay, all right. So we've got the Knight of Pentacles, Seven of Pentacles, and then the Emperor. So I kind of feel like the Emperor is supposed to be the main card here, maybe because it's a major arcana, but this one just kind of particularly stood out to me. So the Emperor is all about this kind of like divine masculine, but it's not just in the sense of like the kind of, I would say, twin flamey, like divine masculine, feminine, but it's like this yang, or this kind of like just masculine, or kind of more structured, organized kind of aspect of us that we all have inside of us. And so specifically with it being here, I think one of the things that your partner, or again, your kind of conscious and subconscious mind are wanting is just a little bit more structure. You know, it's like giving it something to expect, so it knows while you're kind of going through this what it can just, you know, expect from you, so it knows that it is still kind of like receiving love or attention, or kind of being seen, or, you know, which is really important. We need to see all the parts of ourselves. We need to make sure our partners are being seen, all of those things. So if you have a little bit more of a framework in place, I think that will make everyone, or every part of you involved, kind of feel a little bit better about it. And then the two clarifying cards here are also in the suit of Pentacles. Again, Two of Pentacles, this is kind of like the more physical, mundane aspect that I was, I think, really getting at with that Two of Pentacles. I really wanted to emphasize that for some reason. But here, I guess it's like, don't get too hung up on how important this is, because the physical world is just as important as the kind of higher realms and stuff, because we still live in and operate them. That is still a large part of the fraction of our experience. So we've got to make sure we're focusing on that too. So Knight of Pentacles and Seven of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles is all about like moving forward kind of like courageously in a way, like with the kind of like things that you do in the earthly realm. So it's like Page of Pentacles is like a novice. There's somebody who is like just beginning, but they're like, you know, they're a newbie. They're excited. They're not afraid to make mistakes because they're just learning and stuff like that. Whereas the Knight is a kind of like, you know, it's the next level. It's like after you are done being a novice, you kind of like level up a little bit. So you've got a little bit more understanding under your belt, and then that kind of allows you to make more informed decisions. You can kind of go through things a little bit quicker. And that leads to that kind of like faster pace, a little bit more courage that I was picking up on here. And the Seven of Pentacles is all about kind of putting in the consistent work. So it's like sometimes we wish that we could just think about something and then maybe work on it for just a little bit, and then poof, it just magically takes care of itself. There's a lot of kind of like consistent labor that's involved with some things. I'm also guilty of just wanting things to like poof, be instantaneous. But you know, there is joy in labor as well. So it's like, especially with partnership and stuff, so much of the magic and the joy and the just like emotion that you experience is like by working together with this person, putting in that consistent work and labor of love into things that kind of like help build the foundation of the relationship. Or even with yourself, you know, the union between your external self and the inside little voice of you that kind of is like, you know, it's always asking for things, and we tell it no a lot, and then it gets sad, and then we get depressed, and all of those things. It's like finding a way to make them both happy, so it's like we don't feel like we're just controlled by our impulses, but also we feel like, you know, we're listening to our little urges and the things that we do want, you know, because we're allowed to have wants and desires and things. So the oracle card for this one, I'm going to go ahead and read the little excerpt from the book just because I don't have these memorized yet. And Elena Fairchild, if you're unfamiliar with this deck or author, Elena Fairchild, she is amazing. She is probably one of my favorite oracle deck authors. Oh, and I flipped right to it. Not right to it, but you know, easily. Yeah, highly recommend her and any of her decks. This one is the White Light Oracle. This one is the Whispers of Aloha, and I'll say my tarot decks at the end, I guess, or Ethereal Visions by Matt Hughes, Rainbow Tarot by So, and then the Weird Cat Tarot by Chase something? Gabriel Cash. Okay. So, Archon Barbello. So, your biology and gender are creative and powerful means for you to express your soul path. Sometimes you may feel limited by gender constraints or stereotypes. Aha, that was us talking about the Emperor, wasn't it? But your spirit can never be restricted or controlled. Embrace the journey of what it feels like to be you in your own body. There is much benefit and healing to be gained through an embrace of your life journey, including the deeper experience of the absolute freedom of your spirit. So, very nice. I'm going to read that one more time to myself. I kind of zoned out for a second. Gosh, sorry. So I feel like for this specifically, it's like embrace the journey of what it feels like to be you in your own body is standing out to me a lot. I think that will resonate a lot for the people here who this is more so of a kind of internal experience. It's like honor the needs of your body, but also like your like inner child, or you know, just honor yourself. You know, it's like we all are multifaceted individuals who have a lot of different parts of ourselves that want to come through all the time, but I feel like out of laziness or just fear or other things, we kind of ignore certain facets for a while, and when we do that, that part of ourselves aches, and so just make sure you're honoring those, you know. All right, so I guess you guys can kind of see it. Hold them up for a second. So we've got the Knight of Swords with the Five of Cups in reverse with the Seven of Wands. So Knight of Swords is all about kind of like moving again. So the Knight of Pentacles was about moving forward with the things of the kind of earthly realm. You've gotten a little bit of experience. Again, you can just kind of like physically do them a little bit quicker. Knight of Swords is all about communication too. So it's like the more you do this thing over here and the more it kind of becomes a part of your vocabulary and just all of those types of things, the smoother your communication in it will be, which makes a lot of sense. The more you talk about it, the more it kind of ingrains those neural pathways here. And then with the middle card, it's the Five of Cups in reverse. So usually the Five of Cups upright is about kind of like choosing to focus on the negative rather than the positives in the situation. I feel like especially while you're kind of developing this skill and kind of getting into this big thing here, you know, it is going to be a learning experience and process. It's not going to be, again, just instantaneous. I think we've got some, yeah, the 7 and 7 here, so that's fun. 7-year life path number. But so Five of Cups in reverse is, again, saying to like focus on the positives rather than the negatives while you go through this, and that will help everything stick a little bit better because, again, we're learning from our mistakes. Our mistakes do not define us. And so last card of this little trio is the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands is kind of this energy of like re-engaging with kind of like conflict. So it's like this kind of Five of Wands energy. It's like specifically, oh yes, okay. So there's the Five of Wands, the Six of Wands, and then there's the Seven of Wands, which to me tell a good story on humanity or kind of like the human psyche. So the Five of Wands is a conflict card. It has kind of like 5 people standing around hitting each other with sticks, and then you've got victory after battle. But then you've got the Seven of Wands, where it's like the person who was victorious kind of like turns around and chooses to re-engage with conflict that is kind of already resolved in a way. So with this in particular, it's like one of the best ways to move forward is to make sure that we are not moving backwards. So like if you feel like you're kind of regressing or going back into an old habit or something like that, just recognize that it is this kind of energy here. So it is still a step in the right direction, but then we have to get to the 8 of Wands, and then we've got to get the 9 of Wands, and then we can finally get to, I guess the 10 of Wands isn't something to aim for, but to me the 9 of Wands is kind of like being at the last step before the final landing, and then you like finally choose to leave this behind and you enter your new era or landing. It's just sometimes with the 10 of Wands we take a little too much baggage with us. So I've got that for this side here, and I've got 2 oracle cards for you. So you have the 7 blessings of Eve and love lives on. So honor your past, present, and future love. Kind of appropriate with parts of what came through here specifically, where it was talking about honoring all the different aspects of the self. And again, I'm going to read the 7 blessings of Eve. Hope I don't zone out this time. Okay. So, a spiritual gift shall enter your heart and manifest as a blessing in your life. You have innate talents and abilities which will support your soul in full, glorious manifestation. You have been blessed with a beautiful divine destiny to fulfill. You have natural healing ability. Choose your thoughts and words so they reflect what you truly wish to put out into the world, because your influence is stronger and further reaching than you realize. That makes so much sense with the Star and the Fool and the World, you know, especially coming up in the particular combo that they did. I feel like that's a very auspicious sign for you, so congratulations to you, you know, capital Y-O-W, or W? Y-O-U, excuse me, yow, you, Y-O-U, you know, thank you for being here and watching this, genuinely. May your path be very blessed. So, all right, other side of the situation here. So we've got the 9 of Wands, perfect, would have come up great and handy. 8 of Swords in reverse and the 4 of Swords. And yes, you can see those. Okay, so 9 of Wands, like I talked about, is kind of being at that last final landing or that step before you kind of enter into this new level, you know, in numerology. Once you get 9, that's the end, and then 10 is 1 plus 0, so it kind of starts a whole new numerological cycle. So this is kind of like, I think this feeling that we get a lot before we're about to make that final change, where we kind of feel this call to pull back and kind of, again, go back to these old wounds. Again, these kind of wands or these conflicts from the past are kind of like reaching up, trying to get us to interact with them again. But I think, you know, yeah, that's all it wants me to say about that. But I think it leads into the next card here with the 8 of Swords in reverse. So the 8 of Swords upright is all about kind of like this feeling of learned helplessness, where it's like, yes, she does have her blindfold on and she is bound, but if you really just look at the situation as a picture, you know, what do you need to free yourself when you're bound with rope, you know, in that situation we're all in? It's like, well, it would be great to have a sword or a knife or something like that to cut the rope with. And that's what she has all around her. It's just she can't see that she has the tools around her to free herself with, because that's just kind of how the law is set. But if she uses her bit of mobility because her feet are not bound, she could walk around, explore a little bit, kind of, you know, gather her bearings, learn her land a bit, and then eventually she would find one of those swords and be able to free herself. To me, kind of with it being in reverse here, it's saying that it's like, I think that would kind of be the deciding factor for the 9 of Wands, is like, if you can, like, you know, if you take that final push, that would be you learning to kind of free yourself from the situation. But if you kind of choose to regress and go back to these kind of older habits or the old, you know, I don't know, whatever it is that you would be going back to, you know, I think that would kind of stay in this kind of helplessness. But again, it's not a, what if you do this, you'll never free yourself. It's just like, you would be aware that that kind of was the option that you didn't pick in a way. And so the other card here is the 4 of Swords, which is all about meditation, calming the mind. Usually it's like this person is in a church, so it's kind of like when you do find time to quiet the mind and be still, it's like that's kind of when you receive those moments of divine inspiration or that wisdom or that insight from God that kind of comes through, or spirit, you know, and I think especially when you kind of feel like you're in this, where it's like you're so close, but you're not quite over the edge and you're kind of going back, finding these moments of stillness where you can kind of reaffirm yourself, kind of remind yourself about all of this awesome, cool stuff over here, that I think will help you find the courage to free yourself in this situation. And so, last one here is so this is kind of like how it meets back in the middle, so where it started, now that we've dissected it a little bit, kind of what more it has to say about the situation as a whole. And so we've got and I didn't do these oracle cards, excuse me. So we've got Ein Sof Ar and Time to Bask, switch off, tune out, and re-energize. Since I forgot about these over here, I'm actually going to read these after these cards in the middle, but I just wanted to make sure I remembered them. Okay. So, Page of Cups with the Four of Swords in reverse. Oh, interesting. So Four of Swords, and the King of Pentacles upright. So, first card here is the Page of Cups. So, Page of Cups to me is all about kind of like offering your cup, or like putting your heart on your sleeve, like bearing your emotion, being vulnerable, sharing something with somebody, kind of all encapsulates that. I also just like love that there's the little fish in the cup. That's kind of like a reference to Archangel Michael, which is a very just, you know, communication can be a very healing experience. I feel like Michael is a very communicative archangel for sure, so that's, you know, fitting. But specifically here, it's kind of like, you know, just talking to either yourself or kind of like your partner over here, and just kind of sharing what's up about this situation or kind of what you're going through. I think that could be beneficial, even if it's just journaling or writing a letter to yourself, if that is your particular lot in all of this. And yeah, I think that's all it wants to say about that. If anything else comes up, I'll talk about it. The next one here is the Four of Swords in reverse. So again, this reminiscent of this, but with it being in reverse, it's going to have a kind of like, you know, sometimes, especially when it comes to sharing or being vulnerable, it's like you just gotta kind of go for it. You can only ask for so much guidance or insight from the divine before it's kind of like preventing you from doing the thing that you know you want to do. So just like be okay with tuning in and listening to your own emotional state. Anytime you have the Suit of Cups, it deals with that emotional or that feeling aspect. So it's like, just feel it. You know, we are so aware of what we're feeling. We just try so hard to convince ourselves we're not feeling that sometimes, which I guess could be the kind of mental energy in reverse here, kind of conflicting with this. But ultimate card here is the King of Pentacles. So the King of Pentacles is the kind of like final evolved or kind of like master of his element. And so with this being the kind of physical environment, it's like if you can find balance between these two things, Two of Pentacles, King of Pentacles, all that pentacle energy coming back full circle, you know, you will be able to master kind of this situation, or you will be able to find a kind of perfect solution in all of this. It will take some experience, again, to get from the page to the knight. You've got to do the knight, page to the king. You've got to get through the knight. You have to gain enough experience that it does just come a little bit more naturally to you. And then you have to get to the point in the Queen of Cups or the Queen of Pentacles where you can kind of feel into the situation. You don't have full mastery yet, so you don't know why you feel some of the things that you feel, but you do. And then eventually you get to the point of mastery where you know and understand kind of all of the different things of the situation and kind of what goes into them, what makes them up, all of their components and stuff like that. And that's why he's the king. You know, he oversees all parts of his kingdom. You can oversee all the parts of your own kingdom as well. So yeah, and again, Six of Wands, the victory card here, yay! So that's very exciting. And again, with those justice cards here, I think that's kind of all that I've got for you guys. So take care. I'm going to say a closing mantra, so stick around if you would. If you liked this, please go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe. That would be awesome. I don't give any comments, so I'd really appreciate one. If you did make it this far, that would be just really, that would make my day. But all right. So thank you so much. Thank you to you, your higher self, benevolent beings, spirit, and spirit guides and entourage on the other side of the veil for coming through and assisting in today's reading. I'm now disconnecting from you all and sending you back with love as I reconnect to my own higher self, spirit guides, and team. Oh, I forgot these two cards. Okay, so if you are still here, maybe only these last people were meant to get these cards. Well, that's so funny. I was about to say, 1 second. Where's 22? Okay, so, all right. A way through the struggle has already been created for you, and you are being led onto that path. Your authentic soul path may include recognition and acclaim, notable success, and admiration. Be grateful, but do not be dazzled or distracted by such experiences. Focus on what connects to your heart and grounds you in the simplicity of spiritual truth, which is the practice of love, kindness, and peace. This will allow for successful progress in the material world without disturbing the sanctity of your soul. Very important message for everyone out there still watching. Very nice. and time to bask. So, like they said, a way is already being opened for you, a wise, benevolent soul or one who is watching here at the end. So just kind of like revel in that, you know? It's like it's okay to celebrate and be happy and content with your success, you know? I think that's the thing that's hard for us to do. It sometimes feels like everything is always in progress or process, you know, capital P there. But yeah, it's okay to kind of relax sometimes and like celebrate. So, congratulations, I celebrate with you. Blessed be. And now I close out the reading, and so it is.